Starting now to the bottom right of the map, we have the player for Team StarTale. It is Curious. Just came back from Europe, where he won the Millennium Tournament. It is
StarTale Curious.
Curious now up against the Casper player. We have the Zerg with his first match. The Casper Zerg with his first match today. Starting to the bottom left of the map, it is
CJ Entus Effort.
And if you look at those two players and talk a bit about the mirror matchup, the one thing that you definitely realize very early is that the record in general in the mirror games is so much better for Effort here. He had a lot more success so far in Heart of the Swarm facing fellow Zerg players. Curious, he has like a 50% win ratio and he played a lot of the ESF players, took down players like Hyun, for example, who he had to defeat at the numeric cable Millennium House Cup that I mentioned earlier, the European tournament that he just won. But then if you compare it to what Effort has achieved so far, you especially see him, of course, performing in Pro League quite a lot, and he was up against the best there, losing a few games against opponents like Solki, but in general, he's doing really well in the ZVZ. So if you just look at the statistics and the raw data that we have, Effort a little bit in the lead here, but still he has to prove himself today, and it's going to be interesting to see who's taking this win, just because Curious lost game 1 already, and if he takes another loss, then suddenly he would be 0-2 in a group of 5 players. Very uncomfortable situation to face.
Yeah. By the way, this map, no one would deny it's very sick map. It is going to be in the ladder pool. It was just announced today for Season 4. So even though this map is currently just only used in WCS, it's going to be in the ladder for next season. Blizzard's trying to line up the seasons, of course, with WCS and making the map pool similar. So I just wanted to put that out there for anyone who didn't know.
Overlord Scouts are just going to meet in a second here.
Yeah.
And the better scouting goes to Effort already. Like the 2 scouts are meeting in the middle of the map, but already another one in the main base of Effort. So he sent his overlords out to the correct position right away. And the first overlords, of course, met too. This is why we see the second overlord heading into the same direction for Effort, whereas Curious was splitting the overlords up. Number 1 goes to the top left and is now taking a bit of a detour to arrive at the bottom right, and the second one was sent out again. So both of them trying to get those information about not only the main base tech but also the natural. Effort will have his units, or his scouting units, in a bit of a better position, though, to give him additional information about what's going on.
Yeah, this is a fairly mirrored builds coming down, but well, it's faster speed for Effort, of course, with the earlier gas.
It's not only the faster speed, we don't have gas for Effort at this point. He's not mining, he doesn't have any gas at all, so that speed is actually like a lot faster here. Now we go into double extractor here, but the speed and also the baneliness, you can already see that Curious is really trying to be super aggressive here, and that could be a big problem for Effort if he doesn't prepare. He's getting 1 spine crawler, but if he doesn't identify what's happening here, he might actually lose this.
Yeah. Well, Curious with the spine at the front, he's got the queens ready. He's just, you know, going into a lot of later gas. He has double extractor right now.
But I'm wondering... Effort, yeah. Curious is actually now in a position where he has I don't know what that spine crawler is actually for. Maybe for the scout for the overlord, because he should know by now. I mean, he has the baneliness, he has speed even before Effort starts his own speed or anything. So Curious doesn't really need that spine crawler.
Well, Curious is the one who doesn't have the speed, or doesn't have the baneliness just yet.
Are the colors mixed up?
Oh wow, our colors are different on our screens. On your screen, it's a different color than it is on my screen. Look at that. That is really strange. Effort is definitely at the bottom left. I can see his ID there. Curious at the bottom right.
Okay, yeah, then Curious. Okay, I'm not quite sure what happened there, but yeah, the Zerg at the bottom left currently with the baneliness.
Yeah, he's the one who's ready to put some possible serious aggression on here.
Yeah,
that's weird. Our screens have mirrored or opposite colors.
I think they.
Literally, like, on your bottom left, everyone's...
Yeah, I think they didn't change the colors probably again. I guess there was a mix-up here.
Yeah, anyways, everything's fine, but that was just kind of a strange, weird thing that we both just experienced.
Yeah, my brain has to adjust it now itself, and has to be like, okay.
You know, I once commentated a game where I was told the players' names incorrectly. Both players are barcodes, and I commentated a whole best of 3, calling the players incorrectly because somebody told me the players wrong.
And then at the end of the game, someone tells you, and the viewers knew all along the entire time because there was an additional overlay or somewhere.
Yeah, it was actually at the Code qualifiers. It was a PvP, and it was the deciding match to see who got through, and Anyways, it's a long time ago.
It's so interesting to me that there is so far no commitment. There we go.
There we go, yeah.
Now Effort is moving out with his units, is going to the bottom left. But it's like already quite late what we see. Both of them are transitioning now into roaches, but we have now we have Justice. Yeah, the Banelings are going to destroy that. I mean, that was like a blind run into the main base.
Yeah, he's going to go over here and kill his base at least, though. And, you know, so far this one Baneling trying to do what he can to deny. Not able to do so, though. Curious does force that cancel. Or actually, he doesn't even cancel it. Oh, no. And now he's going to get into the main base or kill Queens. Both are great.
Yeah, moves in here once again. Curious really trying his best at this point, but the better trades actually go to him. Effort lost more resources so far.
Yeah, and the thing is, even though he killed that base, he doesn't have his own base to back it up. And
I'm still completely out of the zone right now. All the builds at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, there we have the lair now for Effort is already completed. Curious trying to catch up in tech. Harvester count, as you can see now on the tab, is still fairly the same. The faster speed for the roaches goes, of course, to Effort.
Yep. I think part of what tricked me is that Curious is on the left side of the overlay, but he's on the right side of the map. So that's kind of tricky. See what I'm saying? And maybe that's what happened. I don't know, man. Like, my brain is shut down there for
We
a
have
moment.
two different screens, guys. So I see what you see, and on the other screen we have, like, we can double check. And the problem is that at the beginning, when we announce the players, we do not know because I do not know because there is no overlay on screen. So I always check the other screen. But then the colors and the positions were crossed. That's how that kind of happened. Just to explain that, while we have a little bit of breathing room here. But yeah, that completely brain fucked me here.
Well, you know, this is kind of an unusual ZVZ as far as Heart of the Storm goes. People have transitioned after the patch to the Spore Crawler, but we don't have either player going from Mutalisk at all. It's just both of them going straight up Roach versus Roach, kind of like Wings of Liberty style, both going into the upgrades relatively the exact same time here.
Third base for both of the players, and of course with the Overlord sticking around, you always know exactly what your opponent is going to do, or at least you should. And we have both of them expanding at roughly at the same time. A little bit later here for Curious, my bad. So for Effort. God, I'm useless. I'm really useless in this game right now.
Well, another attack here by Curious to Effort's base over here. There's a single Roach and a Baneling going to deny that. And all the Roaches here for Curious to deny Effort's run-bys are really important. Notice he has him positioned at the third base, but there is a big, heavy Roach attack by Effort coming in towards the natural, and so many of the Roaches are out of position. He knows that. He runs in here. He has speed first. He could get this Evolution Chamber and then get out. I think he will do just that.
He's sniping, and those upgrades are really important. The rest of the Roaches for Curious are currently on their way to the bottom, but the Evolution Chamber has already been sniped. Here we have a little bit of attack over now at the third base of Curious, but so far he's doing a good job defending, but he loses the Queen after all.
Yeah, loses the Queen, but you know, he has an extra one, so it's not terrible for him. But those upgrades that he's missing are going to hurt him. One thing to note, though, is that Effort actually only has 1-1. He did not start 2-2 at all. Curious had both Evolution Chambers going for 2-2, so even though he lost the attack, he will still get the Carapace on time.
It's really annoying for him because the attack upgrade was the one that was actually farther progress, so he could have really used that. But he also has more army supply than his opponent, so with a good position he could do a lot here. And he's now moving in, and that's actually a decent flank that he gets here.
Oh, excellent.
Gets a lot of units, and here suddenly Effort has to commit to this attack, and Curious, he has the better numbers.
Yep, Curious crushing this. And just look at the supply drop right now for Effort. He does not have enough forces now to hold off this possible counterattack that's going to go to his third base. If he goes straight to the third, he might be able to snipe that hatchery. Effort just does not have enough production to compete with this.
Yeah, Effort is in a lot of trouble right now, especially since that +2 attack upgrade for Curious is going to hit fairly soon. And then Curious will also have an upgrade lead over his opponent. Moving in now, what he has, trying to take down not only his Spinecrawler, but also the rest of the Roaches. And this is just a trade that is not going to go well for Effort at all.
He is going for the kill here. Goes straight for the natural. He's about to have +2 Carapace.
As soon as that kicks in, he will be unstoppable against us. Even the drones have now to be pulled to just do something against those Roaches. But Curious, he's on a roll now. He has a 50, 60, 70 supply lead already.
Yeah, that's going to be the end of it. Roaches popping out here to die as they're not even re-rallied. GG.
Curious winning this oh-so important second game in the group. He's now a 1-1, the only player who played 2 matches so far. Jan and Effort without a single win, and Paralyze and Super leading the ranking with a 1-0 record.
What a just great That's what, you know, seizing an opportunity really is. He sees the roaches coming, he catches them with the flank, and he's like, well, now I have too much, and I'm about to have +2 carapace, so at these positions, since they're close at the bottom, at any point in time he can say, no, and just walk away. He doesn't have to, you know, commit a whole lot here. If he walks over there, starts to do some damage, and suddenly he's like, you know what, Effort actually does have enough production to hold this, and he just walks away. So I like his choice to go for the attack there.
Very important for Curious, of course, to win this game for the reasons mentioned. He's now 1-1 instead of 0-2 in the group, so he has all the chances in the world to advance to Codes. Before we start with our next game, we are jumping into a 5-minute break, and when we are back, we'll continue with the broadcast here at the GSL Up and Down Group D.